I distinctly remember all of my African brothers and sisters when we were in school being the butt of a lot of jokes. I'm not even going to hold you, a lot of them.
What's good, people, and welcome on another episode. If you are here for the very first time, welcome on the channel. Please subscribe and make sure you like this video as well. So, this African American creator on TikTok made a video talking about how Africans or immigrants, Black immigrants, especially from the Caribbeans, don't like African Americans. Now, words, she said, no one does anti-blackness better than a Black immigrant or like Black people from the Caribbean or any other part of Africa. And you guys already know the diaspora war thing. It always comes up maybe once or twice a month. There are so many African Americans agreeing to what she said as expected. There are some Africans as well literally disagreeing to what she said, because at the end of the day, on my own end, I feel like both parties need to do better. As someone who have seen so many videos both from Africans and African Americans talking about this same topic, I feel like both parties just need to work and just do better. But let me just get the clip rolling and let's hear what this lady has to say about the anti-blackness that comes from the Caribbean and other people from Africa.
No one, and I mean no one, does anti-blackness better than a Black immigrant or like a Black person from the Caribbeans or a Black person from Africa or wherever else in the world that doesn't like African Americans. No one. And it's not even funny anymore. I'm legit concerned because they be the greatest coons. Like, they'll say the most out-of-pocket, outlandish stereotypes or negative thing about African Americans, and I have to think to myself, where did this come from? Who told you this information? How do you know this? And it's even crazy because sometimes you'll find people that haven't even been to America, has never encountered an African American in their lives saying these things. And it's crazy because the way they talk about African Americans, you would think African Americans are the furthest demographic from them, right? Put a Black immigrant that can't stand African Americans on the phone and you'll be talking to a nationalist. Oh, they're lazy. Oh, they're thieves. This is what they do. They're criminals. This is what white people say about you. Like, you peep that, right? You understand that this is how they look at all of us combined. Like, before opening your mouth, you think white girl Becky's gonna know that you're Nigerian and the girl standing next to you is African American? Like, even if you had an accent, they'd probably say it's AAVE. At this day and age, 2024, you should not be pandering to white people. Where has it gotten you? And I mean, no one does anti-blackness better than a Black immigrant or like...
I asked this girl, why don't she like Black Americans? When I was working with her, she was like, it's because they called me an African booty scratcher in school. I said, girl, what? You're still upset about what happened in school? Bro.
Better than a Black immigrant? Well, not actually. Because I am a proud Black American by way of Florida. And I distinctly remember in school being so anti-Black. And I blame them. I do. I blame them because they taught it to us in a roundabout way. Y'all don't remember laughing at kids in school who couldn't read them people's words? They weren't forced to read. I distinctly remember all of my African brothers and sisters when we were in school being the butt of a lot of jokes. I'm not even going to hold you, a lot of them. Ugh. And I blame America because it's America's fault. But I will take accountability for the part that I did play. So when they come over here and they look at us sideways, it's just a part of the game. Get to know one another personally because we're bigger than that. We're better than that. We may have been separated, but we know how to come back together. I mean, no one does anti-blackness better than a Black immigrant or like a Black person.
So what this creator is saying is absolutely true. I live in Florida, so the Latinas and the Black immigrants, they're a little bit of the same. I'm sorry I got to drag Latinas in this, but this is the story time that I have. I was going out with a friend, and she had friends that I didn't know. So I only knew her, and we was over her house pregame and about to go out or whatever. So she had two other friends. She had a girl from Ghana, and there was another Latina. My friend was Latina from Puerto Rico. That was my boo. Still my boo today, but let me tell y'all the story. So she had these two other friends. They both had their dudes there, and it was a white girl there too. So it was a white girl, a Black immigrant, two Puerto Rican girls, two Latina girls, and I was the only Black American. Why all these bitches making jokes, except my other Latina, my first Latina friend, they making jokes about the slave ship, about Black Americans in the slave trade. Then they start making colorist comments. And then the girl from Ghana, she was darker than me. But they thought that was a key. The girl from Ghana thought it was a key because she's not Black American. Her ancestors didn't have to go through that slave ship. But me, I had some for these bitches. Cause baby, we going out and all y'all niggas are here. And I'm the type, I choose. I do the choosings. So we go out. Mind you, I didn't forget about these little comments, these little darky comments, these slave ship comments. And a bitch like me, girl, the girl was dancing with her dude. I took that dude hand, I took her nigga hand. And then I did like this, like I held his hand and I twerked all on him right in front of her. Like, girl, I would take your nigga. And then he wanted to dance with me all that night. She was hot. She was hot. She was mad as fuck. But I ain't give a fuck. Bitch, you thought you was funny? I'm gonna show you I'm funnier. Let me take your nigga. I got your nigga. And he is not leaving me alone. That man did not leave me alone all that night. And she ain't say nothing. So my best advice for Black Americans, bitch, take these bitches niggas. Period.
Blackness better than a black immigrant?
I'm actually not going to say too much on this because there's so much you can say about this subject. But I think what a lot of Black Americans forget is that Caribbean Americans or Caribbean people and Africans are a lot closer to colonialization and imperialism than Black Americans are. So I think a lot of the white is right thought processes are a lot like closer in generations to us than they are to you guys. But I think like I don't think y'all be thinking about that because I think even when y'all was free from slavery, like as Americans were free from slavery, there were still countries in the Caribbean and in Africa that were getting colonized by the British. So like you just kind of have to just like think about that first. Hold on.
Does anti-blackness better than a black immigrant?
This is my take. This is my truth. So this is what it is. So I'm Haitian. I moved to America when I was like 8 years old. But not being my 30s and like decolonizing my mind and having so many different kind of experience, I realized how treacherous like this whole system is because like being in Haiti, we're told so many bad things about African Americans. We're told so many bad things about African but never white people. It's as if like we put them on this pedestal. And then coming to America and experiencing life as it is and getting older and decolonizing my mind and having that African American experience also, being in my 30s, I don't mind people thinking I'm African American. But when I was younger, I immediately stepped away from that. I immediately would tell people I'm Haitian, or I would thicken my accent, but now I'm losing my accent because I don't speak Creole as much. Because the experience is so much more different. It's so hurtful to be the way African American get treated, and especially for myself because I know the difference. I know how when I tell other immigrants, other people that I'm an immigrant, how they treat me and how their shoulders go down and how we can have this conversation. But when I tell you, when people think I'm African American, the way they treat me is so grotesque, and then the conversation they will use, they immediately when they find out I'm Haitian, they're like, "Oh, your family must have worked so hard to get here. Your family must have done this, this, and this." But meanwhile, African Americans, their grandparents have done so much to build this country. But meanwhile, so many places in the continent, we still have this European mindset. We have this colonized mindset of like Europeans are so great, they're the standards. But meanwhile, they've caused many genocide. They've caused so many people to have like lose their houses, to destabilize other continents, other countries. Meanwhile, we hold them to the standard and we hate African Americans as a whole. And it's so treacherous to think about it, to like put it into words and how deep anti-blackness is rooted in everywhere and everything, and this hatred that people have for African Americans. Meanwhile, they were in their homeland, got enslaved, brought to so many different states, and especially in America where people are always like, if you don't like this, go back to your own country. And like it's as if like for African Americans, they can never get rooted in America, they can never get grounded. It's always this weird rhetoric that like, well, if you can't stand up for your flag, then leave. But as an American, this is their flag too. They're allowed to do whatever and say whatever they want. But it's this huge disconnect between like white people and like African Americans, and the way that others just hate African Americans. And like when we talk about like going to other countries, and I think about that a lot, I don't think I would speak English because in my mind I didn't want to be seen as like an African American, but more so as a Haitian traveling the world. And it's because of the dangerous way they've put African Americans in spaces. It's the way they've talked so badly about like how they're so dangerous, they're ghetto, they're thugs, and all of these things. And when you're growing up and you're hearing those things, you tend to believe it because you don't know any better. And then as life moves on, you're like, oh, that's not true at all. You have to like stop believing this rhetoric. But a lot of us who are still in the motherland, we still believe those connotations. We still believe that like African Americans are bad, African Americans are this and that. But the whole truth is not being told. The whole truth is being withheld. But meanwhile, while I was in Haiti, we're celebrating Columbus, we're celebrating France, because our school system was still heavily influenced by France. So to know that France caused and is still causing the most destructions to Haiti and America is doing so much damage, to celebrate America and France and Europe and Italy as a whole, but hate African Americans is so wild.
What do you guys think about what they all said? I love the fact that two creators from these stitches talk about the system and how we are being taught, because a lot of time when we are having this type of conversation, I see a lot of back and forth, Africans coming for African Americans, African Americans coming for Africans. Even in podcasts, this has always been like the thing going on. And it's just that we need to pay attention to the system that has been created to literally divide us as Black. There was one stitch talking about how, Africans in school were the butt of the jokes. Like, that can be a reason. And as well, the other last stitch talking about how they have talked so badly about African Americans before she came to America when she was 8, and then she started to realize that those things were lies. Those things are just false informations about these people. There was another creator talking about get to know these people on a personal level and not generalize the fact that this is how these people are. I feel like a communication 1 or 2 can literally break this type of stereotypes that African Americans hate Africans, Africans hate African Americans. Because if we continue like this, when are we going to cross the bridge of these two parties hating each other? Because yeah, it's a conversation that comes up every month or even twice a month. Or when are we going to be talking about the system being put in place and just have a personal relationship and not just generalize, right? There's so many people in the comment section literally agreeing to what she says, but it's okay because African Americans will stand up for their own people. Africans as well, we stand for their own people. So I don't think this is biased in any way. This person said, I remember Haitian and Jamaican students making fun about how dark my skin was in high school. Like, man, you are darker than me. Another one said, I am Haitian African Americans, and the things that I have heard from some of my daddy's friends is outlandish. Like, I literally used to have to educate grown folks. My childhood was tiresome. Another one said, what's worse is when someone blames propaganda or shift the blame instead of accountability. Like these two, like Steve that I was referring to, they talk about how it is what they have been taught. Like it is literally what they have been told. Like they came or interact with these people with the mentality of what was being said to them, what they have been taught or what they have been told about them. And we need to give each other grace. And that was the reason why I said at the beginning that at the end of the day, I feel like all parties need to do better. Our unity is powerful, so all parties need to do better. Another person said, so true. We believe the white media. I had to unlearn how I was raised to think about African American and their history. It is very, very important. I think the very first step, if you literally want to work on that mindset personally, is decolonizing your mind, because there's a lot of wrong things that have been said about these people to each parties, and it is now clashing. But we know that these people thrive on the division, because if there's no division, there is so many things that will not be successful for them. If we can just break that cycle, it is really going to be cool. I'd like to hear what you guys think about this video in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe before you go and turn your bell notification on as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. And I love you guys.